Welcome into Moving the Chains, brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. I'm Kevin Thomas alongside Jerel Hendricks. Got a great interview today for you guys, a very special guest, the new head coach of the Darlington Falcons, reoccurring guest, Coach Jamie Johnson. Coach, how you doing today?
Good. I appreciate you having me as always. Appreciate all y'all do for high school football in the state.
We appreciate your time. We really do. This is you guys first time tuning in. Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains. Our brand new website, movinchains.com. That's movinchains.com. Our podcast on Apple, Spotify, Google, and more. Coach Johnson was hired in January. He's been the head coach at hannah-pamplico over the past 7 seasons. Before that, he coached at Strom Thurmond, West Florence, Richmond Northeast, and Columbia. Coach, you got hired in January. How's that transition been? And then how beneficial was it to kind of get onto campus early there in the second semester?
I appreciate, number one, the 7 years at HB and the administration there. Great times, unbelievable kids. But I'm grateful that they did let me get started early in Darlington. So it's been great to be there every day, be in the weight room with the kids. So 9 weeks now, I think, something like that. So basically it's just kind of, not anything new now. It's now transitioning into, we get to actually play some ball next week. So we're excited about that. But exciting times going on here. My grandparents and my mom's side of the family is actually from Darlington. So it's kind of, to get closer to them. And like the other night, I went to the baseball game with my uncle. So it's kind of cool to get some of those moments, back closer to them. So I know they're excited as well.
So, Coach, for those listeners, on the Darlington ways, the HP people, and people for Moving the Chains fans that didn't hear your season preview with us last year, can you go into some background information with us? How'd you get started in the coaching?
Well, I had a great, coach lineage, I guess. Coach Woodbury was my head coach at McBee. Then Terry Sile, excuse me, from Central Pageland. So there's 2 good ones. And I knew that's what I wanted to do. I was always undersized. I knew what everybody was supposed to do because I feel like that was my advantage. So I kind of fell in love with it. And I originally got my start on the defensive side of the ball at Strom Thurmond High School and at Columbia. But after my first year at Strom Thurmond, we needed a running backs coach. So kind of transitioned over there and been on the offensive side and kind of made my hay on offense ever since. So definitely had some good ones and some good mentors, Hall of Famers. Of course, Coach Sawyer, Antoine Hillary and Coach Amick and Coach Woodbury, among others. But it's been great, and a lot of people have touched my life. So I'm trying to do the same through football now. And I guess it was, y'all know, while you're doing this, the show is a lot of changes in the state this year. So a lot of the younger guard is now, I guess, kind of taking over in the state a little bit.
So, Coach, how is that staff shaping up? Do you have everybody in place now? Or got a couple more guys just waiting to get over there with you?
There's one more we just haven't announced to make official. He's got, kind of some things going on. And but we met as a staff on Sunday, and, everybody's excited. I think the vibe around Darlington, they haven't been excited about football in a long time. So I think they're, excited about what we're doing. A lot of the, the youth programs we're bringing in May and kind of getting our name out there. So, we're new. I'm from here, but not really. So it's kind of, they get that exciting brand too. And we're going to try to play some basketball on grass, see if we can turn around like we did down there for the Raiders.
So you mentioned you like to play basketball on grass. Can you kind of go into that offensive scheme? I know you guys like to throw it around down there at HP. And what are you guys planning on doing on defense at Darlington?
Well, we were the outlier, I think, at HP. Everybody wanted to, the lake views, et cetera, run the football and play good defense. And we knew we couldn't just line up and beat Lakeview like that. Like we didn't have the linemen. So our chance was to get it to playmakers in space. So it's, I attributed Coach Hillary at Strom Thurmond, some of those elements, but we really incorporated some of the air raid elements into it for 1A football, and it's kind of we've gone to the same concepts, but we can tag it many different ways. So just try to get good at that and get different cast of the ball. So we're going to run inside and outside zone, but a ton of screens, and we're going to get the ball out in space on the RPOs. So try to, there's players here. So, and, I think there has been some, but we're going to try to maximize their talents, try to do some of that, and limit the mistakes. So, can't turn it over like they've, kind of done a little bit, and, try to be great on special teams. I think, the game against Hartsville last year, I think the first 3 punts were blocked. I mean, you can't win a lot of ball games if you're turning it over, that, especially to a good football team like that on that clip. But we're going to be a 4-3 on defense, so a little bit different than we've been. At HP, we're kind of 4-2-5, but in this region, you got the juggernaut of Camden there, and Crestwood and Lakewood and Marlboro, and very talented Lake City team. We got to stop the run. The boys were joking a couple weeks ago. We were throwing it on Friday, and they were like, "Well, Coach, we stopped the pass pretty good. Nobody threw it on us." And I said, "Well, yeah, because they didn't have to." So, I mean, when a team is going for it on 4th down, it's 4th and 10, and then they can run power and get the first down, they don't have to throw the ball. So our focus is going to be try to win the run game and win the turnover margin moving forward.
So, Coach, you kind of hinted at it and mentioned that, Darlington has been a program that struggled a little bit the last couple of years. We'll say that. How did you know that it was the right fit and the right challenge for you to take on at this point in your career?
Well, I'm hard-headed, and when people tell me not to do something, I'm going to do it. So, a lot of, coaching colleagues, et cetera, why on earth would you take that job? Like, come on, you have opportunities to go elsewhere. And I'm like, yeah, but to me, my family is here. But the other thing is too, like, I am that hard-headed. I'm like, I think it is, and I think it's a sleeper. I do. It reminds me, and, I love Coach Dean Boyd to death at York, and it kind of reminds me of Marlboro when he first got to Marlboro County. It was kind of a sleeper. They weren't all that, sustained success. It was kind of hit or miss, but then, of course, Dean gets there and turns it to a powerhouse. So, it really reminds me of that. The numbers kind of indicate that we're going to stay 3A, so that's appealing as well. We don't have to be in the region when West and Hartsville and South coming off a state championship. So that's what excites me. I like doing stuff that's never been done. Did that at HP and kind of trying to look to do it again here, and just get people excited about it again.
Coach Johnson, you were also the athletic director at hannah-pamplico. You made some really great improvements to the athletic programs there. Spent some time there, as the head coach as well. How difficult was it leaving that program and moving on?
Well, it's the kids. We had unbelievable kids, and we had a good football team coming back. I mean, there's no doubt. Jamarcus Williams at tailback is one of the best in the state. I mean, he ran a 4.37 last week at the junior combine or whatever. So it was really hard leaving the kids. But Coach Sawyer, one of my mentors, love him to death. One of the best lines I've ever heard is, there's always going to be kids somewhere that need you. Those same kids that you pour into, if you do it the right way, there's going to be kids that need you to pour into them too elsewhere. So, I mean, it was tough, but I'm not gonna lie. The AD stuff. I mean, it's for the birds. I'm gonna be honest. If you do it right, and I was also the middle school AD. I was the high school AD, and spring sports right now, you're up there 6 days a week. So it was just kind of, you get a little bit burnt out, and I without a doubt, we preached to the boys, about priorities, and we talked about faith, family, football. But I think myself, I kind of got those out of whack a little bit, just working so much. It kind of, the family was a little bit of a back burner and that kind of stuff, and football and work became the most important thing. So I'm excited that now I can spend more time with my family. I can just focus on football and, be honest, it feels a little weird, being home tonight, at 7:30 doing this and not in my office. So, but I'm excited for that as well.
You guys had some really good success there at HP over your time. Going into Darlington now, has there been one thing that maybe you said, hey, this is our number one priority, we've got to get this fixed or change this, or there's been something that kind of really stuck out to you about the program?
Well, bringing in the staff, I mean, obviously, and Coach Norris, the athletic director, he knows, top-notch programs. He was at Marlboro County with Coach Boyd. He was at Dillon as well. So, that's where he came from. So he knows what it looks like and success looks like. And he was a big factor of why I kind of come on board. There's no doubt, I've had opportunities the last few years, and in my heart, I've always felt, like, I guess guilty, or maybe it's not right, I guess, or whatever. But in my heart this year, I felt like this is a good fit for me and with Coach Norris moving forward. So really bringing in the staff, like I can't do it by myself. It doesn't work like that. But there's a lot of improvements, that kind of needed to be done. Just I'm all about pouring into the kids and what's best for kids. But there's no cleats. The kids were having to buy their own cleats in the program, and some of the shoulder pads and this kind of stuff. So that's really where we've taken off. So I spoke at Kiwanis a couple of weeks ago, and since doing that, like, people have donated like $8,000 to pay for team cleats and stuff. So I think the community is extremely hungry to be good again. And we've just been preaching that same message about, at the end of the day, they're going to get the best from me for the kids. It ain't about, how we look on the sideline as coaches or none of that. It's not about being seen. It's about, hey, what's best for kids? So that's what we're trying to do. And, a lot of that's, his leadership and our principal, her leadership. She's been supportive this whole time. So hopefully we can get that turned around just by pouring into them and what's best for them.
So you've been there since January. Who are some special so far, maybe in the all-season program, or that you've seen walking around campus? And who are some special guys that you have coming back from last year's team?
Well, Nigel McFadden, he's getting recruited. Like Liberty had offered him, the old staff, and he's getting reevaluated by them. But he took a visit to South Carolina, 2 Saturdays ago. Was at the Citadel Saturday. Really good frame, 6'2", 6'3", safety, but some of the best hands on the team too. So he's going to be, utilized on offense as well. I think he got like 2 reps, I think, last year on offense, but we're going to really, take those guys and get the ball in their hands too on offense. So he's been a good one. Keenan DeBose, basketball player, all-state basketball player, but kind of was at quarterback for him the last couple of years, he in and out of that role. But he's going to transition play our Z receiver. So he's pretty dynamic with the ball in his hands. But, maybe, if it's even, I'm going to young guy at quarterback. I have a rising sophomore that could be really special. His name's Jalen Augustus. He's 6'3.5" already, rising sophomore. He can sling it. So, why not build around him the next 3 years is my thing. So, I think he probably, you'll hear his name a lot going down in the record books, I think, here in Darlington, as long as he can stay healthy. We have, several key pieces coming back, Jamari Weinglass at running back, the Palmetto prep zone is high on him. His combine testing is really good. Hopefully he can stay healthy too. I think he was nicked up a little bit last year in a couple games. And then Devari Wilson there. He also played running back, but to us he's more of a slot in our offense. So he's going to transition to play slot. I think he's poised for a big year as well. The biggest returning receiver, Marcus Wells, had 400-something yards receiving last year. Great hands. All-star track athlete as well. I think he's going to have a good year. The biggest thing is trying to that a lot of good pieces on defense is trying to get them in what can they do to be successful. So, Nadrez Walls stands out, huge kid. He's massive. One of the strongest kids in the program, rising junior next year, 280 pounds, good looking defensive lineman. So I think he's poised for a big year as well. So I'm excited about the talent we have here, but what excites me too is about the future too. I mean, we go over to the middle school and, when you have 70, 8th graders come up and, they're excited about football. I'm worried about having enough helmets to even put those kids in a helmet, but hopefully they all stick with it and come over. I think the future, I think we'll get this thing turned around.
So obviously you're installing completely new schemes, offense and defense. Do you have many 7-on-7s lined up for the summer to kind of get those guys some work at their own offense?
Oh yeah, we still gonna continue to go to Dillon. When I was at HP, we went over to Dillon. You can't get any better competition than that when you get, Hartsville and Dillon and Lakeview and Chesterfield and some of these guys there. So we're gonna do that. We are gonna host two at our place, and they haven't done that in a couple of years. We're gonna play in Jerel's tournament, and then Coach Jordan, Chuck Jordan, that was at Conway, et cetera. We're going to host an FCA, tournament here in July. So they're kind of excited for that. Actually having people on our teams on our campus and kind of can highlight, hey, that this is going to be a different brand of Falcon football.
You mentioned some talented players earlier on your roster, and with the transfer portal and all the things that go on with college football these days, how difficult is it to get these guys recruited, especially in a program like Darlington that may not have the spotlight? And how important are those relationships that you've cultivated over the years in getting the spotlight on those kids?
Well, Coach Norris, our athletic director, actually, kind of mentioned that some of the guys that have been coming through maybe haven't come through the last few years, so I think those relationships we're getting them back in our building, and they know we're going to, some of those relationships know we're going to do it the right way. And when we send them a kid, we're not going to send them, somebody they can't rely on. So, but I was just talking about this today with Coach Henry from North Carolina A&T about, this whole transfer portal is it's not killing high school football recruiting, but it's important to identify them earlier now, but a lot of those, like a D2 school or maybe an FCS school or somebody like that is now becoming kind of the farm league for, the bigger schools. So sad, but it's kind of the way of the world now. And I just hope it, kind of doesn't trickle down to be the Wild West in high school football, because, I know that's out there somewhere being talked about by some politicians, but it could be good or bad for us. I don't know. If we can get it off the ground, it might be a good thing for us, but we'll see.
Take your financial game to the next level with Founders Federal Credit Union. Reach your full potential. Relax. Join Founders today. Visit an office near you or relaxjoinfounders.com to apply. Federally insured by NCUA, member qualification required.
We got a couple of easier ones here for you, Coach. I noticed you guys are using the hashtag Birds of Prey and One Darlington. What does that kind of mean to you guys in the program there?
One Darlington is kind of something Coach Norris started, last year, and it's before me. The coaches kind of come up with it in every program. So basically talking about how we're one singular, goal, and it's, to be in the community. We want to be tied to the community. We want to bring them back into our school building, kind of turn around the community as well. and be that beacon in the community. So that one's kind of just tying us all together, and I think we all have the same goal. We want to win. So, there's somebody was saying the other day about, a basketball player, and, they were talking about, well, basically the playoffs and all this stuff. And I'm like, well, there's no reason why we can't be good in every sport. Like, we should be rooting for every sport. And, my background kind of, a small school, you want to be good in every sport. That means the same athletes are playing. And then the Birds of Prey, kind of come up with it. We kind of talked about that this program has been preyed upon for a long time. And a falcon is a predatory bird. So, it's time to be the aggressor again. So we want to return to that. And then, of course, the prey for us stands for our core values. So we talk about pride, respect, effort, and you. So if you have a pride in everything you do, if you respect the program, respect adults, respect your coaches, respect your community, and then play with great effort, there's a place for you in our program. So kind of, tied it together with our core values and kind of that, hey, it's time. Like there's some athletes here. It's time to play with a chip on our shoulder again a little bit.
All right, Coach, I'm sure we asked you this question last year, but we got to ask it. You're in a new location. Need some great places to eat down in Darlington. We go catch a game on Friday night.
Well, you still got Holt Brothers Barbecue. I got to give the plug to HP grads as well. So Holt Brothers, really good. Taki's Diner, had that the other day. It's really good as well. And then Chauncey's Wings I had actually earlier. It's the first time I had it, and them things were unbelievable. So they were good. So I definitely put in a plug in for them as well.
Last one here, Coach. Do you guys have any goals set yet for the 2023 season, maybe either personally or for the team?
Well, we're kind of focused on the first one. That's it. They haven't, won a game in 2 years, so we just want to focus on the first one. Let's be the best version of us when we get to Central Pageland. So they come to us, obviously, to keep some momentum going or whatever, because I think we can, be better than people think, and hopefully get into the playoffs. That's kind of our main goal. We don't want to win just for the future. We want to win. Our seniors deserve. It's been a long time since they won a game. They deserve to win some games this year.
Well, this has been great. Definitely all of our viewers and listeners to go check out Coach Johnson, the Darlington program, on Twitter and Facebook. They do a great job posting schedules and highlights and stuff. So you can definitely keep up with those guys on there. Like I mentioned earlier, check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, etc. at Movin Chains, movinchains.com, and our podcast on Apple, Spotify, and Google. Moving the Chains brought to you by Founders Federal Credit Union. Joe, anything else for Coach Johnson before we let him go tonight?
Just congratulations, Coach. Wish you continued success. You continue to do the right things and coach the right way. That's why you keep getting these opportunities. So happy to see that progression in your career. Really excited to see what Darlington can do this year. It's a program that we haven't had the opportunity to cover much the last couple of years. So looking forward to having a contact there and watching you grow that program and you guys become a force in that region. And just thank you for joining us again today, like you did with last year.
I appreciate y'all having me and all y'all do for high school football. Make sure y'all send me the address again so I can send you a Darlington shirt to hang on the wall. So we'll send you a jersey or something to hang up there.
We'll do it, Coach. Really appreciate it. Look forward to getting down to a practice or a 7-on-7 and catching up with you again here soon, all right?
I appreciate it. Thank y'all.
Best of luck, Coach.
Y'all too.